Hey guys, this is Ragnos featuring my first tutorial with Caitlyn. She's a ranged DPS carry who specializes with her incredibly long range on her auto attack, her Q, and her R. I'll take you through some of her basic skills along with some tips and tricks to help you play her better. First up is runes. For Caitlyn I take armor pen, marks, and quintessences, and attack speed, glyphs, and seals. This setup greatly helps with the auto attack, along with her spells which largely scale off AD. The extra penetration makes all your attacks do more damage. Other alternatives include magic resist per level blues, or armor yellows. This greatly increases your tankiness and survivability. For masteries, I do a 9-0-21 spec. In offense, I pick up increased crit chance, attack speed, and armor pen. In utility, I make sure to pick up improved ghost and flash, as this greatly helps Caitlyn's survivability since she's so squishy. I also pick up improved mana regen to help her spam more spells in laning phase, along with gold per 10 and increased XP. To start, I take a Doran's Blade. The only other alternative to this would be possibly boots and 3 pots if you know you'll be laning against someone with a lot of harass. On your first buyback, if possible, you want to get a BF sword. If not, your next best alternative is to buy several Doran's Blade and your boots. Your goal mid-game should be to get your Infinity Edge and your Bloodthirster, as these will drastically help improve your damage. Your in-game build should have some defensive items thrown in, such as Banshee's Veil, Guardian Angel, or an alternative would be Frozen Mallet. If you find yourself not needing defensive items, other good alternatives are Ghostblade, another Bloodthirster, or Last Whisper if the enemy team is stacking armor. These items, when finished, offer you great damage as well as survivability to help in your team fights. Caitlyn's Q ability is called Piltover Peacemaker, which is a long-range AD nuke. Shoots in a straight line, dealing less damage as it goes through more and more targets. The skill has a relatively small cooldown, allowing you to spam it frequently in teamfights, as well as using its low mana cost during the laning phase to help farm and harass. It works great in combination with her W skill. Once the target is immobilized, you can easily get off a Q, doing massive damage to them. Caitlyn's W skill is Yordle Snap Trap, which allows you to place stationary traps around the map much like Teamless Shrooms. When placed, these traps give vision for a short period of time, and then once an enemy activates them, they are visible for several seconds. This skill is great for helping to prevent ganks as well as shut down melee DPS characters as they approach a team fight. Caitlyn's E skill is 90 caliber net, which shoots a projectile forward, slowing enemies and shooting Caitlyn backwards. This skill is not used much for the damage, but rather for the survivability it provides. You shoot at an enemy chasing you, recoiling away and slowing them in the process, allowing you to make a clean getaway. Another feature is that it also allows you to hop through walls. It's only a medium range though, not quite as long as Cassidon jump per se, but it does allow you to escape ganks and shit. Caitlyn's ultimate is good, but also bad. It has excellent scaling and has incredible range, but unfortunately it can be intercepted by enemies that were not the intended target. Because of this feature, it is often useful to use at the beginning of a fight just to do damage to someone, since later in the fight you might not be able to get it off on who you want. It is also useful to help finish off running enemies since it has such a long range. Caitlyn's passive is Headshot. Each auto attack builds a charge, leading up to, every 8th attack, a headshot, dealing bonus damage to any unit hit. This charge is faster if shooting from in the brush, 2 charges as opposed to 1. It is also useful in laning phase to save up a headshot and then use it to harass the enemy champs since it does good damage early game. Caitlyn's primary goal early game, like any carry, is to farm up extremely well. Because her build is so expensive, it is important to last hit as much as possible. Another important aspect is harassing. Caitlyn can harass extremely well with her Q and her headshot ability. Also of importance is to use Caitlyn's snap traps at strategic locations to help prevent enemy ganks as well as prevent the enemy from using the brush against you. Caitlyn's traps are also useful in teamfights to help shut down enemy melee carries as well as tanks moving into position to use a skill. As a range carry, you want to make sure to position yourself on the edge of the teamfight, dealing as much damage as possible from a safe distance. While comboing isn't especially important for Caitlyn to deal damage, it is important when she's trying to run away. To escape, you have several options. One is to shoot the enemy chasing you with your net, recoiling yourself further away and slowing them in the process. Another option is to use your net or flash to go over a wall and then ghost to escape. These spells are also useful offensively for chasing fleeing enemies. Till next time, I'm Ragnos Mysterious. Like it below, subscribe above. Peace out.